it. And here's the pick artist himself, Trayvon Diggs.
We are just inside the Beltway, about 10. Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. This one fielded at the 5. And he returns this to the 22. So out comes the Washington offense onto the field. They'll be led out by the former Texas Christian University Horned Frog, Andy Dalton. Dalton right to the air. That's complete. Terry McLaurin with it. The numbers from McLaurin a week ago. 8 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown.
And he was able to haul that pass in there, but he knows he's got a tough task ahead of him. This unit in the top 5 in the NFL against the pass. He's going to have to really work hard to get open.
First carry of the game for Brian Robinson. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down. Now Dalton. Middle of the field, he's got McLaurin. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 17 yards is the pickup there for number 17. Dalton, 1st and 10. And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. Now, the number 1 mission of any offensive line, you got to protect that quarterback, keep him safe back there. This time, the rush got to him in a hurry. They'll run for the first time with Antonio Gibson. And he will be brought down at about the 43 that time. This defense for the Cowboys, they were quite formidable in the win over Philly a week ago.
I have to admit, I was extremely impressed by what I saw on tape because they stayed in the face of the quarterback the entire game, ended up getting 4 sacks total, and made it difficult for them to step up and find receivers downfield. Also made it hard for them to escape the pocket and run.
Tress Way on 4th down is sent out to punt. He punted 4 times in the loss last week as he gets this one away here. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at the 20. They start on the ground with Elliott. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21. The numbers for Zeke from last week. 17 carries, 62 yards.
Well, to no one's surprise, he gets an early rep right there, and they've been playing their best ball this season as they've built this winning streak. And that includes the ground game, where he's kept the offense productive and put them in position to win ball games. The question now is, can this defense that he's facing do what others haven't and finally put a stop to this streak?
A gain of 8 there on the play. And now 1 yard to go on 3rd down.
And I think this is a route we'll see more of as this game goes on, because with his speed, they want to get him the ball in space on drag routes just like this. They want him to get the ball and run after the catch. Good job there, though, holding him for a short gain.
And he will have a Cowboys 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, there's plenty of real estate for him to maneuver on that run, and let's face it, it shouldn't be a surprise. He's one of the better backs in the league. Had to come into this game with the idea, slow him down, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon.
And he's going to be taken down right at the 40-yard line.
Well, from their point of view, this game could not be starting out much better, could it? force a punt on defense, and now they're moving it crisply on offense.
Crisply, I like that.
Like that?
Yeah, moving it very, very well. Looks like the defense on their heels a little bit. You put a score in here, long way to go, but you're right, that's a heck of a start.
Yeah, and I think this is where the play caller is looking at his play sheet and saying, have that dagger play, have that play and just finish them off right now, because I think they'd love to gain that big advantage early.
The Cowboys in a very solid 4-1 here in the early part of the year. And they've come in on a nice run of recent form. 4 wins out of 5.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
They'll head out of bounds inside the 10. Mark him down at the 9. 48 yards rushing for him on their opening drive of the contest. And it's now 1st and goal. Now Elliott. He pushes forward for maybe 3 down to the 6-yard line. On 2nd down, Elliott. And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott. His 7th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Cowboys will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. Extra point by Moore, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Now Washington going to retake the field for drive number 2. They'll be looking to match that touchdown from a moment ago. 7-0 is the score as they begin with a 1st down. They start on the ground with Robinson here. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up. 2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Here's Dalton. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball. And I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right. At issue here, does the football make contact with the ground before he secured it? And I think some of these angles are going to give us a pretty good look.
Secured is the important part because the ball can touch the ground, but it can't be loose when it does. So that's what they're going to have to try and figure out.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Following the interception, here's Prescott. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. Jonathan Allen, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Another try after the 1st down sack. Prescott, and they'll work this down inside the 30.
Well, it's time to give more credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. On 4th down, Prescott goes off, and on comes the Cowboy kicker, Brett Maher, for the field goal try. From the left hash, this from 46. The kick by Maher is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So the interception set him up with terrific field position, but 3 points, the end result.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner. You always want to end drives with points, but that's one that you're going to look back on and probably say, we should have done better there.
comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. And we'll see if they can bounce back from that last drive. In particular, if they can bounce back at the quarterback position, Charles, after throwing their first interception of the ball game.
Yeah, and some guys, you know they're going to want to try and get a big play right away and take control back.
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jordan Lewis. And the Cowboys are going to take possession of the football. Second straight drive now here, Charles, that have ended with an interception.
And I just wonder, because I don't think it's going to rattle him necessarily, but I also wonder if it's going to unnerve him a little bit. Does it lead to another one? Or does he find a way to pull it together and become sharp again?
Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. Looking to throw. Prescott. Over the middle. That's caught by Schwartz. They'll give him 4 yards there, and it brings up 3rd and 5 now.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Cole Holcomb. And the Commanders will take over here at their own 12.
The Commanders take over first and 10 at their own 12-yard line.
The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back, but make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
1st and 10 for Dalton. This one complete to Curtis Samuel. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 16 more on that one and another first down.
Thus far, it hasn't been a real fun half for them, but a play like that may get them off the schneid a little bit, get them loosened up and moving.
Kind of seems like they've been sleepwalking and still sitting on 0 points.
And it's not always making an adjustment. Sometimes it's just going back to what you know can work and finally getting it done.
This will be Dalton again. His throw incomplete.
This is a half where not just the coverage, but the entire defense is setting the tone in this game.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Jordan Lewis. And the Cowboys will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. Well, I'm not sure that the wheels, Charles, are coming completely off, but they're shaking a little bit. That's 3 interceptions, and now interceptions here on back-to-back drives.
And I think about what a Hall of Fame coach told me, that he always told his teams, when a mistake happens, just move on to the next play. Let it go. Hard to do when you throw this many interceptions. That's exactly the attitude that has to be adopted.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Meanwhile, Prescott's throw pulled in by Lamb. And he'll be brought down inside the 40-yard line.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing, but as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
And a solid run down inside the 30. 69 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here in this first half.
Good yardage there on first down. Exactly what you want. Get yourself set up to keep making first downs, keep the clock running. And if they're smart, you're starting to milk the clock. No hurry before you run your second down play.
And they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at Washington's 19. Now a timeout called for by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. So here's a 1st and 10 now down inside the 20. From the red zone now, Prescott. He'll find Lamb crossing the formation for the catch. And the Cowboys are going to be set up with a 1st and goal coming up as they get him down at the 6-yard line.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a 1st and goal.
And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. The Cowboys going to use their second timeout now, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Coaches talk about it all the time. Players talk about it as well. Excellent job staying disciplined in coverage and making that stop. Inside the red zone, every stop like that could be preventing a possible touchdown.
Prescott on 3rd and goal. Throwing into traffic there, and that's complete. And offensively, they'll take the timeout with 6 seconds left in the second quarter. So they won't get a touchdown, but here's a chance to at least get 3 to end the first half. From the left hash, should be a fairly easy one here. Marr able to put this one through, and that will extend their lead even further. Well, they already had the early lead, and they get the interception, Charles, and now they add 3 more with the field goal.
Yeah, they're in control of how this game is playing out so far. You mentioned the early lead. Now they're expanding on it, getting plays on both sides of the ball. A winning recipe if they can keep this up.
All that remains is to snap this once, and that'll do it for the first half of play. So we've reached the intermission in what right now is a 13-point game. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll start up at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, and it's the Eagles who are out in front. It's Jalen Hurts with a couple of touchdown passes. From there, we'll head down to Charlotte to check on the Panthers at home at Bank of America Stadium, and for the moment, they trail the visiting Saints in that one. Alvin Kamara with 2 touchdowns thus far. Lastly, let's motor up to the Motor City, see what's happening with the Lions at home at Ford Field. And they lead the visiting Minnesota Vikings at halftime. DeAndre Swift with a rushing touchdown there. With that, let's take a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for the Cowboys. And despite the big lead, they really did next to nothing throwing the football, at least in terms of yardage. We'll see how aggressive they want to be going forward. Meanwhile, for Washington, they too have found passing lanes to be hard to come by so far. As you see by the numbers, they'll need to figure that out in the second half. Both teams currently making their final adjustments. We're getting ready for the second half. So we'll send it back up to FedEx Field and hand things back over to Brandon Gott.
All right. you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Cowboys will get the football first here, and they have the lead as well as we are underway in quarter 3. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And he will be brought out here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. Out come the Cowboys now as he'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. He'll hand it off to Elliott to begin the drive. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at 2nd down.
Well, at the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back down and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger...
And it's a fumble. And it's Washington that scoops it up, runs over it. And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line. Well, CD, that's one of those plays you put a mark by. I mean, that could be a big momentum swing here on the opening drive of the third quarter.
Yeah, we may have to revisit it, right? Because if that drive ends up in the end zone, they're sitting pretty at that point. Now, instead, it's a 2-score game that has a chance to tighten up considerably.
And his throw is incomplete.
The goal is certainly to try and make a big play happen and climb back into this game, but you have to be careful. If you overdo it, you could turn it over and hurt your team.
On 2nd and 10. Dalton. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack. And it's 3rd down. And now a timeout called by the Cowboys defense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
He's smart enough to avoid the taunting rule, but I'll guarantee he quietly has told them, you might want to stop coming after me downfield because I just broke up another pass and took away a big shot that you were trying to succeed with.
And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one as it's good from 56 yards out. And they will indeed get on the board here, but still trailing. It's now 13-3. So they got the turnover started with great field position, but in the end, the defense able to hold firm, and they only get 3 out of it.
And I like what you said right there. That defense able to hold firm, backed up into the shadow of their own end zone. The goalpost right behind them. They had to make sure they didn't give up the 6. And, boy, they came through in a big way. To them, even though they gave up 3, that's a win for their side.
They'll start the drive with Elliott. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 81 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They keep on the ground with Elliott. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Now Prescott. He's got it complete to Tolbert. 2nd catch for him today, and it'll wind up a 1st down.
I think that's a big pickup for a 1st down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a 1st down, executed it to perfection. Prescott looks to throw on 1st. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Schwartz. And he's going to be taken down right at the 40-yard line.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try to put the hammer down and finish this one off.
And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
And he finds his target. It's Schultz. And they've got this down to about the 12-yard line.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
A first down carry by Elliott. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
We love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a third down. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. And he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time, so make sure you get in shape.
And the attempt at 3 will have to come from the other end of the field as time has run. Back now at FedEx Field. It's the Cowboys with the football. They'll be looking to tack on to their lead as we get set for the fourth. Running with Elliott. And he won't have the touchdown, but he will have the first down as he's tackled at the 2. They only got a couple, but a couple's all that they needed as they convert on fourth. Starting to look like this drive, it may be the final nail in the coffin.
Well, this is why you work out so hard, right? This is why you spend all that time in the offseason. This is why you have those OTAs and minicamps. For these situations, these scenarios, to run someone into the ground and secure a victory.
No gain there, and it's going to set up second and goal. Prescott now. And this ball is caught by Lamb. Touchdown, Dallas. A great play there. His third touchdown now on the year. And the Cowboys are looking to run it to 5-1 on the season as they add to their fourth quarter lead. Extra point by Marr, up and good. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. The kick team out there for the Cowboys as they run up to send this one away. A look at Washington as they come onto the field.
And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the fourth quarter. This would be their third straight defeat.
Now Dalton with a 1st and 10. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. Another solid game-changing play for this defense with the interception. At this point, though, I don't know that it's game-changing. I mean, they've got this one in firm control.
And you always hear about, you know, those stories about someone left their game plan behind and maybe you benefit from it. I'm not going to say that that happened, but they certainly have appeared on defense to be a step ahead this entire game. Guys are always in the right spot in order to make a play.
The offense has had its moments, too.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10.
They go back to Elliott. He's been busy.
97 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long.
That gives him 98 yards in this game, and he's got to feel pretty good about that, but the entire offense does. The big thing, though, Brandon, they've got to get to 100, though.
You think he knows he's at 98?
I think someone has told him by now, and here's the thing. Getting to 100 or more is tangible evidence that you've had a nice day running the football, and that's what his offensive line wants for him and for themselves.
And Prescott to Schultz there for the Cowboy first.
And looking to put this game on ice in the fourth quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy.
And he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 8 on the season.
And the Cowboys add on to their lead, and they are also closing in on a 5th straight victory.
Extra point by Marr, up and good. And the lead is now 24. The kick team out there for the Cowboys as they run up to send this one away.
The Washington offense back out there. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Looking to throw again on second down. Dalton, and he's upended at the 33, following a good pickup of 8. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
3rd and 2 for Dalton. Completes it to Samuel, and he's going to have a commit. And he's going to have it by plenty, able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 2. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Washington with the football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On 1st and 10, here's Andy Dalton. And the Cowboys' pressure gets there this time for the sack. Now they got to get to the line quickly. After the sack on 1st down, Dalton, and he drops it incomplete, and their struggles continue here.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. That's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
3rd and long. What will Dalton dial up? And that will be incomplete. Another throw there off the mark, and obviously he's battled all of the interceptions. Things just haven't been true to form for him. I don't know. What do you think's going on out there, CD?
That's a great question, and my suspicion is he's been coached really well to not show that he's having a problem. You know, they always tell you no matter what, you keep throwing the football with confidence. Well, we're not seeing a confident thrower right now. He's off balance, the passing game's off balance, and the defense is taking advantage.
Well, I'm not sure he saw the linebacker there as that's batted down and incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Under heavy pressure, and down goes Dalton on the sack. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Dalton. Got his target, Samuel. And he's going to have another 1st down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 23. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. And now it appears that the referee's been buzzed, and we'll get a review, and this being inside.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is
so the officials and the folks in New York got a second look at this one, and the call is going to be overturned. On 2nd and 1, Dalton. And he wisely will throw that one away.
Not only did he have a chance to scan the field there, it felt like he had a chance to scan it twice. The protection was that good. Unfortunately for him, the coverage downfield, equally good.
And a dump off here to Robinson. Now Washington going to use the second of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game.
Let's go.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Another chance for Dalton. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
Got a man, and he hits him in stride. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with an even 20 seconds left to go. And the Cowboys here on 3rd down, bringing in an extra defensive back. Throwing, Dalton. And it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. A big seam, and he might go all the way. He's at the 30. 10. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Cowboy defense has a touchdown. Well, what has been a fantastic game for this defense has been rough for this offense, and certainly a signal caller, Charles, that's thrown all these interceptions. Another one there, and this one taken all the way back for the score.
Partner hoping to hold a nice little spot in the post-game highlights to show this rip of interceptions and great plays this group has made. They've been on it from snap one.
Washington will take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.